Welcome back to the European LCS. My name is Trevor Quickshot Henry, and I'll be joining Deficio to take you through the next two matches, along with this awesome crowd behind us, starting with a battle between Fnatic and the Copenhagen Wolves. Now, Fnatic have been on an absolute tear lately, going on a 6-game winning streak, demonstrating some of the most dominant games yet. They also own the head-to-head over the Copenhagen Wolves 2-0 this split. So we'll see how this works out. Every single member of Fnatic could have actually secured OP player in the last 2 weeks.
100% agree, and especially the dual lane from Fnatic has really impressed me lately here. I mean, Reckless and Yellowstar together. They just get better and better for every single game they play. Reckless, he has a KD of 12 on Lucian, his main champion, and Yellowstar, 209 assists. The most in EU and NALCS. Really impressive by the dual lane from Fnatic.
Yeah, I completely agree. And Fnatic, they've actually taken the mantle that was once worn by Alliance this split as the top team statistically in Europe in a whole bunch of categories. We've actually got a few numbers that we want to show you regarding Fnatic, starting with the fact that they have secured the second most kills in the whole league behind the very pick-heavy Millennium.
And with the most kills, often comes the most assists, which they have as well, and the least amount of deaths. It means Fnatic as a team has the best team KDA in the entire league. Very impressive. And they put a lot of focus on invading the enemy jungle. They lead the European LCS in stealing away the other team's buff with 66, so a lot of focus on counter jungling as often as possible.
Yeah, and of course that heavy buff control can also be attributed to their fantastic warding. They've got the second highest number of wards placed, interestingly behind Roccat, another team which was winning a whole lot of games. And of course Fnatic themselves have killed the most wards in the EU LCS. A lot of importance on vision.
A lot of importance, and once you have good vision control, you often end up getting objectives. So Fnatic, of course, are the team in Europe who's taken the most dragons, they've taken down the most towers, second most barons, slightly behind the Lions, boo-hoo Fnatic, but rest of the things, they're definitely looking so strong.
Yeah, and unfortunately at only 34 dragons, which is the lowest in the European LCS, it means it's going to be a tough road for their opponents. On the other side of the rift, that is the Copenhagen Wolves. They had a very difficult season, although we have seen moments of brilliance, like their performance against Alliance during our final match in London, and then they actually beat Alliance 2 weeks ago. Today, they are playing with two new players, as both Airwax and Coutard are both off the roster. They have been replaced by Broken Shard, formerly of Complexity in North America, as well as Soren, who's playing in the mid lane.
So Broken Shard, he played 6 games in the NALCS for Complexity, where he went 9, 25, and 19. So not exactly the best stats, but we have to remember Complexity started out pretty slow, now been picking up the pace. He also qualified with the Dragonborns in the 2013 LCS, didn't actually play a game for them, but still managed to qualify. And lately, he has played for SK Gaming Prime in the Challenger scene, where he's actually been performing pretty well. So I'm looking forward to see what he can offer to Copenhagen Wolves here in the European LCS. And then, of course, we have Soren. He's a new player to the pro scene. He actually has no real offline experience, except for maybe some small LAN events back in Denmark, which doesn't really count when we're looking at the LCS and the big picture here. According to himself, he actually has the same playstyle as Coutard, so it could be the reason Copenhagen Wolves trust in him to carry on after Coutard stopped.
Well, we'll have to keep our eyes on that because the Wolves, they have had a rough start this split. They had to rebuild synergy after losing 2 of the members at the beginning. They have looked better, and they did go 2-0 last week, but once again, these 2 new members mean rebuilding synergy, rebuilding teamwork, and rebuilding communication.
Especially communication is very important. Soren himself is a very vocal player, according to Copenhagen Wolves, again, according to himself. But he has no experience, so it would be unfair to rely on him from the start to control everything and be the shot caller of the team. So Copenhagen Wolves, they felt like they had to make a second replace or second roster swap and get in a vocal jungler instead of Airworks, who wasn't a very vocal player. Broken Shard, of course, enters. He used to be a shot caller for Dragonborns. He used to be from Complexity as well. And we need to see what he can do.
Yeah, we all know how vocal Broken Shard can be. Well, the Copenhagen Wolves, they are hoping that their unpredictability will keep the red-hot Fnatic off balance, while Soaz and company aim to exploit the Wolves' early mistakes.
We've lost twice to Fnatic this split, and both games were decided by very, very early mistakes.
We usually lost in early game, like we got stumped early game. So if we don't get behind from like jungle invade or something like that, we should be fine, I think.
Everyone can win against everyone in LCS, but I think we are stronger than Wolves.
Soaz has his strength is his real champion pool that no one knows how to handle. but his weakness is his weird champion pool. It's not in the meta. That definitely will be important. The fact that we can't outban him, but we can pick a stronger pick that's more useful than his.
Wolves are kind of capable of beating anyone in a way that they are not afraid to try cheesy stuff. But I think in a normal scenario, we should be able to beat them most of the time.
We're preparing some strats that they won't expect, maybe to catch them off guard, but I think we're on a good way to become a solid team which doesn't need to rely on special strats to beat the opponents, but just by sheer force.
It'll be very interesting to see how Fnatic handle the Wolves, considering they got 2 new members.
I like the fact Unlimited actually talked about Source and his champion pool. Nidalee is now enabled. I've seen he's been playing it in solo queue. Trinity Force, split push Nidalee. I actually hope he's going to pick it.
Well, we'll see if he does. Let's head on over to those starting lineups. On the blue side, it will, of course, be Fnatic with Soaz in the top lane, Cyanide playing the jungle, Peke in the mid lane, with Reckless and Yellow Star as the AD carry and support.
On the red side, Copenhagen Wolves with their 2 new members. First of all, we have Yombug in the top lane, then Broken Shot in the jungle, and Soren in the mid lane. Woolite as the AD carry, and Unlimited, of course, on support.
Well, before we hit picks and bans, let's see who you voted to win this one. With a whopping 90% of the vote, Fnatic owns it. And the 90% curse means Fnatic might be going down.
Yeah, if it sticks to what we normally see, and 2 new members from Copenhagen Wolves, going to be difficult.
We'll see if it works out. This is a good time to remind you guys that you can still get seats to watch the European teams compete in the summer split, but the clock is ticking. So head over to lolesports.com, visit the tickets link at the top of the page for all of the information. We're about to jump into picks and bans, and it'll be interesting to see what Soaz plays. Like you said, he's been playing the different AP top laners. Nidalee's available. Maybe he'll be the first one in EU.
Could be the first one. We didn't see it banned or picked in the last 2 games. I want to see Fnatic targets towards Soren in the mid lane, because he's a solo queue mid laner, often tends to have smaller champion pools than we normally see. I know he likes Orianna as his main pick. Could it be an easy ban for Fnatic, or a pick on to Expector, of course, who's played it the last few weeks and really been performing well on it.
Yeah, we'll have to see how their strategy goes. The mid lane bans have definitely been the trend in 4.11.
Exactly.
Last week and this week, a very large portion of all the bans have been going towards those mid lane champions, and we're about to jump into our first picks and bans. So let's take a look at how Fnatic handle the Copenhagen Wolves. Slow start to picks and bans, nothing out of the gate.
Nothing yet. We've seen Fizz, Twisted Fate and Kassadin as their standard bans the last few games here. Kassadin, of course, by Copenhagen Wolves, instantly banned away. Very standard. And we do actually see Fnatic here ban away Orianna against Soren. So I like it because it is his main champion, and you really want to push this new guy out of his comfort zone.
So just a quick highlight. Braum and Orianna banned away from Fnatic. Kassadin and Twisted Fate taken off the table by the Copenhagen Wolves. That mid lane focus is definitely prevalent, with 3 of the 4 bans going that way, but all of the junglers are still up and available. So Fnatic may be able to go first pick Lee Sin, maybe throw some doubt into the Wolves' mind. Could be Soaz, could be Cyanide, if they go that route.
Yeah, very true. Both of them have played it, but with all the junglers open, you don't have to necessarily first pick it. We could see Reckless pick up Lucian for himself. Been his main AD carry and always been using the Blade of the Rune King and Ghostwave build. And Evelynn is the last ban, so really respecting Evelynn here from Cyanide, or they want to push Cyanide onto a champion with skill shots like Elise or Lee Sin.
And completely catching both of us off guard with an insta-lock Fizz. There was very little thinking from Fnatic's side. Lee Sin, Elise still available, Lucian still up and available, and some preferences from the Wolves. So Fizz for Fnatic, Lucian and Elise for the Wolves.
So again, yeah, Fizz banned the last 2 games, being a very strong pick after Phoenix got nerfed, so there was less magic resist on the enemy mid laner, making it a bit easier for you to get the kills. And then with giving up Elise is not really an issue for Fnatic, because they still have Lee Sin as the perfect option if they want to pick it here for Cyanide, or delayed because they don't need to pick a jungler. So we do see actually Reckless as well, picking up a different AD carry now. We saw him play Vayne last week once Lucian was taken away or banned, I actually believe it was. Could try and do the same thing here.
Yeah, it played really well with Vayne last week. It'll be interesting to see how Soren handles himself. Not only is this his debut game on the LCS stage, and truthfully, the biggest LAN stage you can play on in competitive League of Legends, but he's coming up against Peke on Fizz. It's going to be a difficult task no matter who he locks in.
Oh, definitely. Fizz is so annoying to deal with. Not so much in the laning phase, but coming into middle late game points, once Fizz get a few items, he's just a pain. He's very good in one-on-ones. He's very good in team fights as well, because you often build Hourglass. You can go in, draw a lot of members close to you, you pop your Hourglass, get your E back up and jump out again. So just very hard to deal with. I've seen Soren play a lot of Yasuo in solo queue, but because they didn't take Lee jungle to get the knockback with Yasuo, I don't actually think he's gonna lock it in, and possibly looking for a different mid laner. Otherwise, they have 0 knockups to actually help him yet.
Well, the rest of Fnatic's champions, of course, so that's going to be a Gragas top lane, as well as Yellowstar getting his hands on Thresh for the 9th time this split. He's got a 12 KDA on that champion. Yellowstar, you have to think, is the strongest Thresh player in Europe at the moment.
100%. Every single time he plays it, he sets up so many kills. We saw Kasing earlier today for Subaru do the same thing, but Yellowstar can just do it consistently every single game. Gonna be very hard to deal with for the Copenhagen Wolves, especially also when you have a Fizz. So if you do land some good hooks here, or you have the Lantern as well, it means Xpeke can just go really aggressive and then take the Lantern out to safety.
Well, we'll see if they synergize in that particular route. The Wolves have locked in both Ryze and Renekton. So Renekton and Elise for some early game aggressive moves, and Soren, we're expecting to take that Ryze in the mid lane. Should, in theory, be able to scale, but that's a fairly immobile champion to deal with Fizz from Fnatic.
Yeah, well, Ryze is a good laner. Should be able to farm pretty easily here in the mid lane and become very strong. So we see Copenhagen Wolves with a lot of focus on the team fights with the Ryze pick. Elise as well, very good team fighting jungle. Where Fnatic now, when you have both Vayne and Fizz, I mean, you're looking just to 1-3-1 split push here and never really go into straight up team fights unless you're very far ahead. And you have Lee Sin as well, who can roam around and join in for these small fights and be very, very strong. And you even have Wave on the Gragas now, sitting in the mid lane by himself. So Fnatic really setting up to a very strong pick/split push comp, which is something they love to play and have been playing the last 6 games where they've been winning.
Yeah, and very reminiscent of last week's composition where they had the Vayne and the Shyvana top lane to play that 1-3-1 split push. This time around, maybe going to use the Fizz in that regard. So Fnatic definitely got their comp and theoretical playstyle locked in. Copenhagen Wolves running down the buzzer, and we are going to see another Blitzcrank.
Wow,
second player in Europe to run the Blitz.
Alright, so Blitzcrank here, Unlimited definitely looking to try and stop the split pushing, not by joining in for the one-on-ones, but to actually set up kills in the mid lane, land a good hook here, take down a member from Fnatic, and now you actually force them to recall from the side lanes and join in with the rest of the team. Otherwise, Copenhagen Wolves as a unit can just start pushing down or go towards Baron. So with the Blitzcrank here, if he can set up some kills, he will remove the split pushing effect from Fnatic and force them into defending objectives together and therefore get into big team fights, which should be in favor of the Copenhagen Wolves, unless something like the Fizz or Vayne gets completely out of hand, which we have seen before when we have Xpeke and Reckless playing them.
Very, very big words indeed. If he can set those kills up. Jay Reed last week helped Millennium pick up a win against Alliance. We'll need to see if Unlimited can do the same thing for the Copenhagen Wolves. So guys, which team picked the better champions in your opinion? Tweet to us at LOL Esports with hashtag FNCWin or hashtag CWWin, and we'll see if these lineups manage to sway your vote. Remember, it was 90% in favor of Fnatic, and traditionally this split, 90% fan votes have gone against the favorite team.
Then you end up losing, and it is Europe. We often see top and bottom here. Maybe not too much this split, to be honest, where we had these 2 front runners in the Alliance, and now Fnatic was SK early on. So maybe Fnatic can actually take it. I think if Reckless gets a good start, he got this one. Or Xpeke.
We will have to find out. This, of course, is the potential 7th win for Fnatic. They're 6-0 in terms of winning streaks. They went 7-0 in the spring split before crashing down an 8-game losing streak. It was Gambit that started that one. Copenhagen Wolves will be looking to do that this particular game. So we are jumping into game for number 3 of the day between Fnatic and the Copenhagen Wolves. So let's take a look at how they handle themselves. A lot of pressure on Unlimited and the Blitzcrank.
So every single time we see Reckless on Vayne, Fnatic will always lane swap. At least it's been what they've been doing in the past to avoid the weak laning phase for Vayne. And we often actually see them go into the enemy jungle at level 1, get some deep wards and try and spot where Copenhagen Wolves will send their dual lane and just make sure Reckless can get his lane swap. Both Gragas and Renekton, however, are 2 very good top laners in case of lane swaps. Only issue for Renekton is he's going to be less useful in the late game if you just look at utility he brings. So if he falls a lot behind early, he won't really have much of an impact in the game. Where Source on Gragas, even though he falls behind, still brings a lot of utility with both stuns, knockbacks, and slows.
Well, I do believe we have Unlimited's reaction to the picks and bans, so let's pull that one up onto your screens in just a moment.
Ziggs is banned, so yeah, we'll probably go with Fizz.
Yeah, I guess. Oh, the Fizz first pick.
Okay, that's interesting.
Well, definitely not expecting the Ziggs ban, considering Soaz ran at top, considering Peke's run at mid.
And I think they wanted Fizz actually for Soren. If I got it correct, he was talking about they wanted to pick the Fizz, but then Fnatic just first picked it. So definitely something the teams in Europe here have been screaming a lot. It seems pretty much all of them actually play Fizz.
So very, very smart pick and ban phase then from the Fnatic squad. If they have put Copenhagen Wolves into an uncomfortable spot. What we did miss when we were looking at the listen-in, look at the mirrored wards. Identical starts from both Fnatic into Copenhagen Wolves jungle, and vice versa from the Wolves into Fnatic's jungle.
So both teams simply trying to spot out, okay, where's the dual lane gonna go? Copenhagen Wolves want to see it so they can send their dual lane to go against Reckless and Yellowstar, and Fnatic of course wants to avoid it. It is Copenhagen Wolves, however, taking the blue buff. Same goes for Fnatic over here with both top laners and junglers helping each other. And as we often see it, Fnatic will get the lane swap.
Yeah, exactly like you talked about. Reckless and Yellowstar heading to the top lane to be quite comfortable. We do see Yellowstar
be careful.
Gonna run into some trouble. Youngbuck and Broken Shot, they're gonna catch him. We'll see if they can catch him out. That's a level 1 Youngbuck. Yellowstar's gonna take a few auto attacks, and absolutely nothing happens. We do see Unlimited doing a very similar situation. Hook City, as it were, Thresh and Blitzcrank, both chasing their opponents, junglers and top laners through the river.
So at least they know where the other junglers started, and Unlimited trying to be a scumbag and take away the red buff. Didn't actually work for him because Fnatic pulled it a bit away from its starting position. So both teams now know where the enemy jungler is, where they started. We'll have the timers ready, and we do have the lane swap. Unlimited and Yellowstar actually can both roam around and try and set up some plays here early on.
And we'll see who can roam more effectively. Last week, we actually see Kiwi Kid with a fantastic death sentence through the Wraith Camp wall into the mid lane to help secure a kill. We know for a fact Yellowstar can make those plays happen. Anyways, let's take a look at those buddy systems. Youngbuck and Broken Shard clearing out the jungle camp, moving towards the top lane. And we do see that Soaz and Cyanide still holding hands. Going to check out Larry White. We'll see if they're going to go for the objective or potentially a tower dive. Now, Fnatic did this in both of their games last week. Very early tower dives onto their opponents. It feels like Broken Shard is aware of it. He set himself up.
Yeah, Copenhagen was they expected. There's no E on Broken Shard, however, so no cocoon from him. Only level 2, didn't actually get the last small bit of XP, but did at least put up a ward, so they expected Fnatic to move here, but Youngbuck might still be in trouble.
Youngbuck does have flash available. Broken Shard gets caught. That's a lot of damage from Cyanide already. We do see that in the top lane. That's a condemn into the wall. Reckless tumbles away as the death sentence holds Youngbuck in place. The silver bolts come out. Ignite is ticking, and first blood secured by Reckless. It's not over yet. Cyanide is looking for some spider pudding, and Broken Shard's going low. 100 HP on the flash forward. They trade 1-for-1. Yellowstar gets the last hit, 2-for-1 in favor of Fnatic.
So while Copenhagen was expected to dive here, they couldn't actually do anything against it because Broken Shard, first of all,
he's
only level 2. Youngbuck's back here. This is risky.
Well, we'll see if Fnatic want to re-dive. So as if he takes it up, maybe. Youngbuck gets condemned against the wall. Reckless down to 200 HP. The death sentence goes wide, and Soaz is on his way out. There's no support from the rest of the walls, and that's a flash from Reckless. I think that was smart. He would have been in trouble.
All about Yellowstar landing the hook here. He missed it, so Youngbuck was safe. But the very first dive by Fnatic was very well executed here. First Yellowstar tanked it. He went out of tower range. Reckless went in. Actually, it was Reckless who started, tumbled out of the tower. Yellowstar joined in and did manage to actually get the very first kill, even though Broken Shard was nearby. We did now get his E ready. And we'll have the fight.
We'll have to see how Yellowstar handles himself with these double buffs. If he gets some auto attacks down with that red buff, it's really going to make the Wolves' life difficult. But while all of the action was going on in the top lane, Limited and Woolite going to grab themselves the first tower of the game. Woolite, interestingly, not ahead in CS. And considering Fnatic have had effectively 2 tower dives, that means Reckless is doing a good job at CSing while securing kills.
That's what we normally see from him too, especially when playing Vayne. Always making sure he gets all the farm in his lane swap, because for him early on, if he gets a bad start on Vayne, he might never really catch up and be a factor in the game. And he loves to split push, so he needs to get going early. Therefore, a lot of focus on the farm, and did actually also get a kill. So not a bad start for Fnatic.
Oh, you see Cyanide in the mid lane. Soren is being jumped on, instantly flashed away. I wonder if Beck is going to keep doing that. Remember, this is Soren's first game. We're going to see how he handles the pressure.
Yeah, okay, so while Fnatic did get the 2 kills, we just saw the bot tower go down. We see Copenhagen will start the dragon here with both Yellowstar and Reckless being in the top lane. And at the same time, look at the farm. Youngbuck, because he teleported back and avoided the second dive, picked up a lot of farm, while Source couldn't really get anywhere to pick up anything. So, farm-wise, definitely in favor of Copenhagen Wolves now with Dragon 2.
Yeah, farm-wise and as well as objectives. When you see how Soaz makes himself relevant, remember he does have teleport and flash. So if anything were to happen, he could pull himself into play. Copenhagen Wolves in the mid lane.
Such a good play here. There's no way for an Xpeke unless he jumps into the minion wave and then you have a Blitzcrank to just catch him and pull him into your team. It's a very good early move because the bot tower is gone and the dragon to force Xpeke now to lose some farm on the tower and get some damage on this mid lane.
So the Copenhagen Wolves with a very strong start to this game. It looks like their shot calling seems on point. If you contrast that dragon call from a few minutes ago to a dragon call from Copenhagen Wolves 2 weeks ago, it is chalk and cheese. It was disastrous when they were playing earlier in the split, and this time around, they've got themselves a 600 gold advantage and a lot of damage in that mid lane.
So the average first dragon for Copenhagen Wolves is 17 minutes. This time around, 5 minutes, 30 seconds, something they just go straight for the dragon because they saw Yellow Star and Reckless in the top lane. Very, very good communication and shot calling. Reckless still gets a lot of damage here and want to take down the tower.
Manages to take the tower down, unfortunately. Took a couple extra shots from that turret than he was anticipating. So objectives even, 1-for-1. Peke gets rooted in place by the Rune Prism. Soren's doing a lot of damage back. Here comes Broken Shot from the side. Chum the Waters was available though. Xpeke decides to hold on to his little fishy. Doesn't throw it in Soren's smiley face direction.
So Soren here, slightly behind in form. Was of course part of the dragon, so lost a bit of CS there, but Xpeke lost some in the mid lane too. And ooh, Soaz coming in for a gank.
Well, did you see Rocket Crash? Soaz gets caught, the fat man pulled in, and he's just going to get bursted down. Flashes over the wall, but the overload follows through, and Soren with his first kill of the LCS.
And it's so important to get some early kills on your new members. Of course, Broken Shard, he has the experience. He might not be as nervous as someone like Soren here, but getting an early kill on something like Ryze and your new member, very, very big deal from Copenhagen Wolves. And very nice setup by Unlimited. We talked about how he needs to land the hooks.
And he did land it. Now we see Soren being jumped on. Peke, he gets exhausted out, so Chum the Water's damage is reduced. He's going to be able to hop, skip, and jump away thanks to Playful Trickster. And I just want to mention, Broken Shard was scrimming with the Copenhagen Wolves earlier this week, and he actually put a tweet out saying how excited and happy he is to be back scrimming with and against LCS teams. Just talking about how the communication and the level of play is just all that much higher. He's a little behind in CS. The kill and an assist to his name. Definitely doing well. And consider he was brought on board for his shot calling ability. So if the Dragon Call was his, you do have to give credit to the man.
100%. A bit of a tough start because he was only level 2 once. Fnatic actually dived the top lane. Yellow Star with early Moby boots here, which we often see, going towards Youngbuck.
Well, we'll see if they can catch him. No, Reckless does throw down that Hunter in the Night. Youngbuck is stunned against the wall. Death Tainted backward. That's a lot of damage on Reckless, but we should see Youngbuck going down. Gets dropped and Reckless for the second kill of the game.
Just a few seconds before the flash was actually ready for Youngbuck here. Couldn't escape it. Good setup. Nice early Moby boots here from Yellow Star to roam around between the lanes, something he often likes to do. And something Unlimited actually likes to do as well. Just be part of all the lanes as a support and leave your AD carry to just farm by himself. We have seen the same. I mean, Unlimited is once again in this mid lane. He just keeps going back and forth, same as Yellow Star.
And something that Yellow Star has been doing on Thresh, traditionally starting with Relic Shield and eventually selling and going towards Ancient Coin. This game just started with those boots and really relying on that mobility. We do see Peke securing blue buff for himself. Got a CS advantage over Soren. Soren, of course, with that kill. And the Dragon Gold to back him up means that he's actually ahead in total gold at this point in time. So Copenhagen Wolves, they've lost that global gold lead that they built up from the early Dragon. Should be respawning soon. Maybe we'll see a fight.
Still, if you don't manage to stop a Fist from farming early game, you won't stop him in the late game either, because he just becomes stronger and stronger. Same can be said about Ryze, of course, but still, the fact that Xpeke can pick up so much farm and Reckless on these two late game hyper carries is an issue for the Wolves, but they are trying to set up some plays here. Unlimited once again roaming into the mid lane, joined by Woodlight.
Well, we'll see how Reckless performs. He's got a 10-minute Blade of the Ruined King. Woodlight working towards that Infinity Edge on Lucian. So in terms of power spikes, Reckless should be stronger for the next few minutes.
Scary.
Look at Fnatic setting up for the mid lane. Pick is going forward. Chum the Waters goes out. Goal as Woodlight has to flash over. Rocket Crab does not connect either.
The both hooks missing here. Copenhagen Wolves with the same idea as before. Because the bot tower is already gone, Woodlight, he pushed it out or got it to slow push towards Fnatic, and then he just rotated to the mid lane to try and punish Xpeke for not really being able to wave clear. This time around though, Fnatic were ready with all the members. Even Source actually moved from the bottom lane up towards the mid lane in case a fight would happen.
Remember, all things considered, that's a flash down on Woolite. So if he does get slightly overextended, could be in trouble. Level 5 Yellow Star, no box available. Look for the death sentence. We'll see if he can connect. Youngbuck slices once and sidesteps. Yellow Star with a very rare miss on his skill shot.
Soren here actually built some early magic resist on Ryze, so he's gonna delay his Rod of Ages just by a few minutes, but still, it's always about getting it as early as possible, together with your tier, of course, and just start stacking them up here. But one of the early magic resist against Xpeke and Source.
Yeah, definitely should help him out. On the topic of items, you can notice Soaz actually got himself a chain vest and a giant's belt. So, you know, we've been seeing Gragas's in Korea go Lichbane first. You were talking about it in the previous game. We've seen a lot of AP being built by Wicked. And Soaz also going to go his own direction for this game. So Dragon's up in 5 seconds. It looks like the Wolves have got positioning.
And it really shows to me how Source wants to make sure they actually have a real tank in the front here. Oh, nice from Youngbuck!
The death sentence connects. The box is down. Youngbuck gets slowed, but he's going to slice and dice his Valve away. Reckless continues to chase as Yellow Star is tanking up the turret. So Youngbuck forced to flash away. The rest of Fnatic have grouped themselves up. Cyanide goes in. He steals like only Cyanide can. He gets rocket grab backwards though. A second kill to Soren. Dragon for 1. They've got to be happy with that.
Same deal here for Wolves though. Oh, Broke's in trouble.
He's going to repel away and still get nommed. Earth, the manatee, is hungry and he's eating spiders for breakfast. Youngbuck sidesteps away. He does throw down Dominus. Reckless is melting through his HP. Yellow Star and Reckless counter the kill with a kill of their own, as well as getting Dragon.
And really not the best few minutes for Copenhagen Wolves here. First of all, it was supposed to be their Dragon. There were 4 members. Cyanide stole it. Yes, he went down for it, but now up in his top lane. Reckless just picked up a kill. Xpeke got a kill as well. Remember, you can repel to avoid the knock-up because you're up in the air, but you still take the damage as the least, and will die. Oh, if he had landed that hook, man.
Well, I thought it was going to happen, that's for sure. Unlimited almost
would have been a mad life.
Makes an LCS big play, but it was not to be. Reckless and Yellow Star get themselves up. Another kill, another tower. Fnatic accelerate to a 2,000 gold lead. And 1-for-1 in Dragons. I think decent call by Copenhagen Wolves, but better steal from Fnatic.
It was the right call by Copenhagen Wolves once they had Soul again, the 2 members, both Yellow Star and Reckless up in the top lane, to quickly take the Dragon, back away and go up and help Youngbuck up there, who shouldn't actually have stayed after he was forced to use Flash before. He went back in trying to wave clear and Fnatic just jumped him, or Reckless and Yellow Star jumped him, picked up another kill now for Reckless, so he's looking very, very strong.
Well, take a look at the items on the map. Sunfire Cape completed for Soaz now, going tanky. Youngbuck still yet to complete anything other than that Bilgewater Cutlass. We got a lot of damage on the junglers. And as you pointed out on that mid lane rise for Soren, has not completed his Rod of Ages rather. Negatron Cloak really delaying his stacking items. So it'll be a while before Rise is that Terra tank frontline that you expect him to be.
Ooh, Cyanide, pretty risky here, going in all by yourself. Yellow Star is nearby with the lantern in case he needs it. But Copenhagen was really making sure they can get this blue buff over to the side of Soren so he can keep farming.
A lot of investment here on the side of the Wolves. They've got 3, nearly 4 members actually on the buff. Oh, they've hooked Cyanide. He comes back with flashes over the wall. Should be able to make it up. Soren wants blood. He flashes forward. Rune Prison goes down. Lantern shield. Plus the little dash means Cyanide can get away. But that's Soren flashing aggressively and not managing to get the kill. Look in the top lane. Peke has shoved the wave all the way to the inhibitor turret. Reckless looking for blood on Youngbuck. I wonder if he's going to start the fight. There is, of course, the scrying lens. Youngbuck gets taunted up. Blade of the Rune King down. Youngbuck is just getting decimated.
All right.
Too easy.
So, if you're against a Vayne and a Fizz who's getting early kills, you don't build damage on Renekton as your first item. You are so squishy. Your only choice is to go full tank and just try and defend your own tower. Source, he's in trouble.
Yeah, he's in trouble. Knocks him away. And of course, Unlimited and Broken Shield tag teaming to take down Soaz. Easy kill backwards, just Soaz a bit over-aggressive.
So Unlimited has been doing a good job trying to get a few kills here, but still these solo lanes, or these side lanes, sorry, is gonna be so hard for Copenhagen Wolves to deal with. The Blade of the Rune King, it's something Youngbuck always builds on Renekton, but you're not gonna catch Vayne anyway, or Fizz for that matter, and Broken Shot in trouble now.
Oh, he does manage to sidestep Chum the Waters. That's a flash over the cocoon. Peke grabs himself another kill. Beautiful Urchin Strike straight through Unlimited.
Woolite
gets knocked up in the air. We'll see if he can get away. Peke manages to playful tricks to the silent. Woolite is looking like he's going to get taken down. Red buff slow. Last hit gets secured by Reckless. That is a 5-0 Vayne. Fnatic group up. They've set their sights on the mid turrets.
just because they have the carries are so fed from Fnatic, it really also explains their tank build here from Source, because they don't need more damage. They just need someone to tank everything Copenhagen has to offer. And Pekka once again jump around, Soren in trouble.
Oh, he gets knocked back with the death sentence. Connects onto Unlimited. That's one secured. The rest of Fnatic dive forward. Cyanide once again goes down as Reckless. Flashes forward for the Lantern out. 2 for 1. And Fnatic are playing out of their minds. That is a 7-0 Vayne. 10 kills to 5, 3 towers to 1. There's very little Copenhagen Wolves can do to contain Fnatic at this point.
Simply Fnatic outplaying Copenhagen Wolves. You're just gonna see it again. It's Pekka jumping around, dodging the hook. Sana jumps in, kicks back Zoran, there's no flash. Jumps in then, hook from Yellow Stars to Lantern to Unlimited, so he flies in, gets the flay as well. And notice the Lantern being pulled down here. They know Reckless, he's like, I'm gonna go for this one. And Yellow Star puts the Lantern, Reckless knows he can flash after it and take it back to safety.
Aggressive Reckless, which is not what we were seeing at the beginning of the split, when he was playing passive and playing scared. One of the few 80 carries in Europe to pull Vayne out. He had a fantastic game last week, and he's off to one hell of a start this week.
So 15 kills, 17 minutes in, 2 Dragons, 1 for each. Even though Copenhagen Wolves are now far behind, and if you look at just like the big table here with a 7-0 Vayne, they've had some good calls. I mean, the Dragon was the correct call once again while there were 2 members up in the top lane. Youngbuck has had a lot of issues, however, in this game. I don't agree with his build, and I think that he shouldn't have stayed around to die a second time to wreck this up in his top lane.
Oh, Cyanide's got
good hook again.
Cocoon into hook. That means he's down. Cyanide definitely feeding for Fnatic. I also want to highlight, it's the new players for Copenhagen Wolves that are shining. Soren, 3-1-0. Broken Shot, 3-3-2. Definitely putting up a good performance for their debut on the Copenhagen Wolves squad.
And of course, credit to Unlimited. Landing the hooks here, and onto Woolite.
Oh, Woolite gets caught. Yellowstar flashes into the hook. Gets pulled backwards. Chum the Waters is down. The damage does connect into Unlimited in the background. Reckless has got his first. We do see Pekka securing the second of the fight before he playfuls once. Trickster's out. Reckless is chasing Unlimited before he turns back onto the giant crocodile of Youngbuck. Youngbuck has got a Doran shield against a 7-0 Vayne, and he just gets turned into a pair of boots. Before Copenhagen Wolves are on the retreat, 1 for 3. And Fnatic just surround the Wolves.
Dragon is up here. Sana died before. Remember, he got hooked in by Unlimited, but he will be back now. Take the Dragon with both Source and Reckless. So Fnatic extending the goal lead. You have a 9-0 Vayne at 18 minutes.
There's nobody on the Wolves side that can deal with Vayne. If Soren finds Vayne, he has no armor. He's got some HP from Rod of Ages, but Blade of the Rune King plus Ghost Blade plus Negatron Cloak, Reckless is just playing phenomenally. And you know what? This is just Fnatic. They're looking like they want to go 7-0, playing the map, moving around, and their rotations are back to epic levels that you expect.
So to be honest, they didn't actually rotate in this game at all. They have just been in their lanes, either split pushing and just diving onto Copenhagen Wolves or just looking for teamfights in the mid lane. They never really actually had to do any rotations around the map. Yellow Star stuck with Reckless up in his top lane, got the first tower, moved on to the next one, killed Youngbuck, got the second tower. Fnatic, hook onto Yellow Star.
It's a hook for hook. Yellow Star Unlimited trade, but Yellow does have the support of Reckless. Ignite is burning, should be able to survive, and if Youngbuck jumps over the wall, he was going to be in trouble. So they traded hook for hook. That was Hook City at its finest.
Yep.
And Yellow Star gets away with his life.
Youngbuck is staying around the tower. Very, very squishy, but the rest of Copenhagen Wolves are nearby in case Fnatic wants to try and dive him. And therefore they back away after all the wards being cleared by the Wolves.
Well, the last blue buff that spawned for the Wolves required 4 of their members to secure under threat of a Fnatic invade. They've got the numbers in the bottom half of the map. It's Reckless that is now on the front line. Look at that drop down. 1 kill every 2 minutes for Reckless. That's a very difficult stat to maintain. But
yeah, he needs to hurry.
Up.
If you want to keep it going, he really needs to go in and just dive Youngbuck now and kill him. Come on, you slacker.
Well, he'll be very disappointed if he doesn't maintain that stat. Fnatic going to push the lanes down. They know they've got a strong advantage. You were talking about how the Wolves would be good in team fights. This far down, Very difficult to see how you'd survive. Their sentence goes out, connects with Youngbuck. Tower's being secured in the background, and Youngbuck is going to get dashed on. Chum the Waters connects on Woolite, the best target possible. The exhaust was used on Peke, so damage was reduced. First kill secured by Reckless. We do see that's a double kill as he sidesteps the Cocoon, looking for the triple. Reckless has got a triple. He's looking for Broken Shot. That's the quadra. He's looking for 5. Tower's down the back line. Reckless makes it to Red Back. He gets it. Reckless with a pentakill in the summer split. Fnatic 18-8. They are dominating Copenhagen Wolves.
And Reckless has just been part of everything here, picking up kills for himself. Even got the penta here. He even died by himself too. Just look at the fight here. First hook onto Youngbuck. They take the tower at the same time and just keep chasing up here. And it doesn't even matter what comp you have. When there's so many kills on a Vayne this early, the team fights will be in your favor. We see Rex here, got 2 kills. Dodges the Cocoon, goes for the next one. So much damage onto Wulan. And now the rest of the team just want to make sure he can get the penta. Hook actually misses, but there's a lantern onto Reckless. He's getting the last kills while the rest of Fnatic will tank the tower.
Absolutely phenomenal. Pentakill Fairy reporting in, and Reckless grabs Penta here in the summer split. Truthfully, there is just so little that Copenhagen Wolves can do to contain him.
At this point, yeah.
Vayne is back. If you can get yourself the farm, if you can get those items, you know Reckless has got the mechanical ability to deliver.
So first of all, they got the lane swap, which they always want to have on Vayne. And also they actually got the first dive where he picked up the first kill.
Well, I do want to highlight at 1 kill every 2 minutes, that stat has now been adjusted because Reckless has bought himself 5.5 minutes to breathe. With those 14-0-1, if anyone has Reckless in their fantasy team, well, congratulations on your Week 9 victory.
Thank you very much. I'm not even sure who I'm playing because I'm so far ahead in our caster league. I don't even care who I'm playing anymore, actually. I just win games.
Humbleness is what you were lacking, my dear friend. Their sentence goes out, doesn't connect with the Wolves. Fnatic, you got an 8,000 gold lead. It's not as much as you might expect at this stage. Cyanide maybe playing the sacrificial lamb. Yellowstar gets hooked in, box goes down. Teleport coming in from Soaz as the kick from Cyanide knocks up the Wolves. Here comes Peke. We see Reckless with the first kill of the fight. Now Youngbuck to the back foot. Reckless has got the double. The Chum the Waters is on Broken Shot. Killing blow lands on Cyanide. Scumbag Cyanide indeed. It's not over yet as Peke is looking for the dive, and Woolite finally decides to back away. 3 more kills. Fnatic turn away, maybe considering Baron.
Should be a very easy Baron here. They can even kill the ward with their own pink. Just take it unless Woolite wants to move in and try a steal. He's all alone, decides to back away.
And of course, Yellowstar, after being hooked by that rocket grab, actually survives the entire fight. Fnatic secure the Baron, and just look at the item. This is full tank Gragas from Soaz. Banshee's Veil and Sunfire Cape. We see Cyanide building himself up some MR. DFG Lichbane completed for Peke, as well as those Ionian Boots of Lucidity. Eye-Edge, Ghostblade, Blade of the Rune King for Reckless. Over on the other side, Youngbuck has only got a Blade of the Rune King. There is no tanky stats at all to survive the incredible amount of damage that Fnatic has available to them.
Honestly, just a mistake to even build towards Blade in a game where you know it's going to be Fizz and Vayne split pushing against you. It's all about just staying alive as long as possible and wait for your team to make moves around the map and then force the split push back or go and gank one of their squishy split pushers from Fnatic. So, invested the gold wrong, been dying a lot, and the early kills for Reckless, every single one came on to Youngbuck up in the top lane.
Oh, Copenhagen Wolves are considering the pincer move, decide against it. Look at the recall from Unlimited down the map. The rest of Wolves not in position to defend. Fnatic are going to secure potentially 2 towers. They've hooked Broken Shot, nobody's committed yet. Second tower, a couple auto attacks away as Reckless does secure it. And that looked like a Talisman of Ascension popped from Yellowstar in anticipation of an engage. So Fnatic 2 uncontested towers. They extend their lead even further.
An open inhibitor now can just move straight in. Either force Copenhagen Wolves to try and engage. I mean, we need a hook from Unlimited here onto someone like Reckless and just blow him up instantly. Otherwise, the team fights are going to be near impossible for the Wolves to win.
Well, we'll see if Unlimited can make that happen. He, of course, does not want to hook Peke into the middle of the team. Just gives them an easy Chum the Water setup. So Unlimited, Overdrive is up. Peke manages to Playful Trickster away. Cocoon connects to Cyanide, who has given up 5 deaths of his team's 8.
He's been hooked a lot of times by Unlimited, actually. Always the target. Get hooked in, he died for it, but then the rest of Fnatic just joined in and picked up some kills.
It's difficult to criticize him when you see what happened after he dies.
Very true. Very true.
Maybe, I mean, making good bait.
The the same again for Copenhagen early on. The team play was fine. The calls were okay. It was just all about this top lane going horribly wrong for them. So there was so many early kills on today. And then once we had the first few team fights, well, you were already very far behind and they just kept losing them and kept losing them.
Individually, Fnatic just outplaying Copenhagen Wolves is the story of this game. Peke once again moving to the bottom lane to shove the wave up. He does not have teleports available. So we'll see how much pressure he can put on that turret before the Wolves respond, and you have to feel it is just a matter of time. The amount of damage Reckless has, I'm not even sure the Wolves can win a 5v4. So Broken Shot lining up, trying to set the Cocoon. Unlimited is back. He gets played. He is insta-gibbed by Fnatic. Broken Shot is just getting destroyed as the Silver Bolts are up. Death Sentence comes up, does not manage to connect with the champion as Cyanide is once again going to give up his life. Reckless did not die for the fight. Instead, he was trying to focus the tower down. While all of that was going on, Peke was unable to get to that bottom lane turret. It looks like Youngbuck was sent to defend.
Both these solo laners here, or Youngbuck against Peke, both actually used the ulti in the fight. And now just pushing the wave up once again. But it's all about this tower here for Fnatic. We actually saw them. Two members kept diving on while Yellowstar and Reckless stayed behind and just hit the tower because they want to take down the towers. They don't need more kills. Now it's just all about opening up the base, get the inhibitors, and wait for super minions.
Copenhagen Wolves leave the base for a second. Fnatic just stroll in. They've jumped onto Reckless. He's instantly going to move away. Down to a low amount of hit points. Soaz below 1,000 HP. Broken Shot connects with the Cocoon. Soren bursts him out. Copenhagen Wolves grab themselves another kill, but they did lose another tower.
So at least he has 6 kills onto Broken Shot. Been doing actually a good job of being at the right place, at the right time, getting the kills. Obviously, you want to have it on someone like Woolite, or even more kills on Soren. But to be honest, with only 3 and 4 assists, it's not like Broken Shot has been taking the kills away from them.
Unfortunately, Copenhagen Wolves have not necessarily been able to get those team fights they may have been looking for with their comp. Well, and yeah. Youngbuck, 27 minutes, Blazer and King. That is all he has to his name. If you look at gold difference, he's actually only 1,300 gold behind Soaz, which is maybe not as much as you would expect, but the money has just been invested into a blade, and he can't survive. He's relying on dominance, and it's just not enough.
With Soaz here building full tank himself, he's not exactly going to be the guy to walk around and take kills now. He's just going to be the guy tanking up with Cyanide, sacrifice themselves so the backline with Reckless and Expected can just do all the work in these fights here. So I don't even think they care about the fact they have quite some deaths on both Cyanide and Soaz at this point.
Yeah, I think he'll be happy. I can't see them worrying too much. But much like Alliance in the previous game, we've hit this mid to late game stage of the match. And Fnatic have definitely slowed the pace down. Reckless still not in danger of losing his 1 kill every 2 minutes stat. He's got himself a nice healthy lead. Interestingly, if he hits 19 kills, he will equal Skara's Master Yi game, where he secured 19 kills in 1 game. 20 is the record for the highest number of kills in an LCS game in the history of the LCS. Wonder if Reckless is aware of that. And one more team fight, actually, he could secure it.
Yeah, I don't think at this point he can even avoid killing people. I mean, close your eyes and just start auto-attacking left and right, and people will die when you are so far ahead. He's going to be the target, though, for Copenhagen Wolves. They're going to look towards him and try and either flash forward with Soren on Rise if he does a flash for the next fight, or land a hook, or stun from Youngbuck. I mean, we can see everyone from the Wolves just try and pile onto Reckless and kill him. And then maybe they might actually be able to win a fight, even though they're very far behind, because if you look at the damage, we talked about it on Soaz, on Cyanide, they won't really be able to kill anyone by themselves. They need the 2 carries, both Expect and Reckless, to kill people.
Very, very positive, Mr. Deficio. There's a whole lot of things Copenhagen Wolves need to do right in order for that scenario to happen. But I do agree with you. I do feel that if they can survive Peke's burst, ideally maybe dodge Chamber Waters, that would be a good start. Soaz does not have the support of any damage dealers around him. Fnatic playing the split push game, but it's with Soaz and Peke, not actually with Reckless and Peke, which is what we were anticipating.
Well, it was early on until he picked up all the kills. I think they just want to keep him now with Yellowstar, so they make sure he has the Lantern as well, and Yellowstar to try and peel for him. Just try and, yeah, what they're doing now, get onto inhibitors.
Well, 4 members of Fnatic in the mid lane. Peke is up in the top lane. He's pulled the support of Youngbuck. Youngbuck and Peke traded ultimates a little while ago. Playful Tricks has been used. Hourglass as well as Flash were available but not even needed. Peke just sidesteps away. He's jumped on Youngblood, DFG, Chumble Waters. It's a whole bunch of damage. Manages to urgent strike in. Peke gonna throw down the hourglass. Here comes the rest of the team. The question is, can Reckless get killed? They've hooked onto Soren. He gets pulled into the team. Reckless manages to not secure the kill. Turns his attention to Warlight. That's a flame. That's kill number 18. He needs 1 more for the tie. He needs 2 more for the win. Fnatic onto the top lane inhibitor. There's not much from the Wolves to defend these Nexus turrets, and Fnatic have set their sights at the last few objectives, not before they try and kill Broken Shard. Farrell is just waiting for him, and can they burst him out? Decide against it.
Side against it, so Reckless will be stuck on 18 kills, sadly for him here, but the Nexus towers will go down.
And that is going to be the game after 31.5 minutes. Fnatic obliterates the new look Copenhagen Wolves. Reckless unkilled at 18 kills and 3 assists. Look at the smiles. That is a very, very happy young man.
I think you just said everything there is actually to say about the game, because teamwork-wise, I mean, we can actually look at this game and just say it reminded us of a solo queue game, because it was just small fights, getting kills left and right here. Not really any big team fights, before it was way too late for Copenhagen to actually team fight. And then it was just about random kills. Your hyper carry gets 5 kills the first 8 minutes or something, and from there on it's pretty simple actually to pick the right things.
Well, Fnatic definitely concluding that game in style. I do think you have to give some credit to Copenhagen Wolves for their very early Dragon Call.
Yeah.
And the reason I call that up very specifically is just how many bad Dragon Calls they've had in the last 2 or 3 weeks, where they lost a lot of momentum and gave away large leads. This time around, it was the right call. It was executed well. Unfortunately, after that, they were just too far down, and Reckless just wrecked them.
And in this game here, good one, player for player, Fnatic were just a lot stronger. I mean, they always came out ahead in the fights here. The 2 new members from the Wolves, however, actually did a fine job. I mean, Broken Shard, he picked up 6 kills on Elise, Soren went 3, 5, and 4, I believe, on Rise. So not exactly a bad performance from the 2 new members, but just very hard to do anything when all of a sudden it comes down to such a fed Vayne.
It's actually something that we see from Copenhagen Wolves and from Gambit, where the new players that are brought in actually perform fairly well, and it's the old players that are struggling. With Gambit, Genji and Edward have had a tough time in the bottom lane last week. They gave up first blood this week. Similar story with Youngbuck. They brought in new players for the Wolves, and he really just got picked apart and destroyed by Fnatic.
Completely destroyed. The very first dive in the lane swap where Broken Shard was only level 2 was a big deal, so he couldn't really join in fast enough, and Reckless could get the first blood, and Fnatic the first few kills. Started the whole snowball thing, actually, and everything went in favor of Fnatic.
Well, we'll see what Shox has to say to Reckless. Let's throw it over to her on stage.
Thank you very much, guys. So Reckless, pentakill here in the LCS, first one this split. Highest amounts of kills ever in the LCS. How high were those things on your bucket list going into this game?
I never actually expected to get a pentakill on a offline tournament. It was my first one, I think. I've had a couple on online tournaments, but never offline, so it was an amazing feeling, actually. I was a bit shaky afterwards. And then getting 18 kills in a game is kind of insane. You never expect to get so many, but Vayne is one of those champions. When you get 1-2 kills and you start rolling, you can get as many as you want.
Yeah, the most kills in Europe in this game. And then talk me through why you went for that Vayne, because last time versus SK Gaming, Lucian was banned, so you went for Vayne. Now very confident in that, not even first picking it, a first pick for the mid lane. So tell me about that strategy.
We've actually been practicing Vayne this week a lot, since I felt after the SK game last week that Vayne can actually be really strong in this meta, because it's changing a bit to Assassins mid, and it's still with this tanky top laners. And these Assassins mid are usually countered by Cleanse or Quicksilver Sash. So Vayne is one of those champions who can really make use of these 2 defensive abilities. And I really felt like when they picked in the Renekton and they had the Ryze mid, which is hardly countered by the Cleanse, I could just go for the Vayne lane swap, try to punish the Renekton as much as possible in the early game, and I think I put him 0-5 by chasing him around the map all the time. And then I had the Cleanse for the Ryze Flash W. So I was really safe in this game.
Yeah, actually the exact same plan as you did versus SK, the lane swap with the Vayne and get rolling. And you mentioned it as well, you feel confident that you found something now in this meta that works, because we've heard from Tabs, for instance, that he feels like, I don't feel like I'm doing that much in games anymore.
I think Vayne is just one of those champions that I'm really comfortable in personally. I don't think it's the best champion to play, because it's really risky, and at the same time you don't get as high reward as you can do with others because she's really hard to siege with, for example. So she's just one of those niche picks I have in my back from like season 2 when I just spammed her like 1,000 games. So I know exactly how she works, even if I don't play her in solo queue.
Pentakill, pretty big reward, I would say. Talk me through how you feel in the team in general. I know you're one of those young, hungry guys who feel very bad if you guys go on a losing streak and take it very much to heart. So what's the atmosphere like and the efforts going into the rest of the season?
Right now, it's actually really good in the team. We're all happy, making jokes, and just living our life pretty much because we're, after all, on a winning streak, and RNA came in and like fixed the issues we had before. So everything is going really smooth right now, and the playoffs is coming up with Worlds as a main goal, and we're really looking forward to that and already planning for the playoffs because we really want to get to Worlds this year, and I want to prove myself.
And get more pentakills, of course. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right, we're going to take a quick break, but after the break, we're going to break down this game with Impaler and SK Gaming takes on Millennium. But first, we're going to take a look at that fantastic highlight reel from Reckless.
Everyone knows that the Xpeke has some problem. Joking.
What kind of problem?
Hey, it's Reckless.
Youngbuck gets taunted up, Flame of the Rune King down. Youngbuck is just getting decimated.
All right.
Too easy.
And pick it once again, jump around, sword and drop.
Oh, he gets knocked back with the death sentence. Connects onto Unlimited. That's one secured. The rest of Fnatic dive forward. Cyanide once again goes down as Reckless. Flashes forward for the Lantern out. First kill secured by Reckless. We do see that's a double kill as he sidesteps the Cocoon. Looking for the triple. Reckless has got a triple. He's looking for Broken Shot. That's the quadra. He's looking for 5. Towers down the back line. Reckless